I'm gonna say it. Spring 2024 anime has been awesome. There's been action, characterization, plot twists, and fan service galore. Today, in around 30 seconds per show, I'm going to go through every anime I've watched this spring, and I'm ready for all of you to skip to the end and roast me in the comments. Here, we pivot from the erectile dysfunction arc to the let's cheat on your pregnant wife arc. And in classic Jobless fashion, it kinda works. The arc with Norn had a huge emotional payoff that reminded me how good this show can handle emotional moments. Then they followed it up with Rudy leaving, and you're so frustrated knowing Rudy is making the wrong choice, and you feel all this dread knowing something terrible is about to happen. Then we get a great return with Roxy. I have switched up the scale, so if you have questions about that, look at the pinned comment below. As for Jobless, I was going back and forth. I knew this was going to be a boy. I wasn't sure if it was Inner Circle, but as the season progressed, there are too many great episodes, a couple classics. This is going in Inner Circle. We'll refer to this season as the Geezer Priests arc, and like most geezers, this arc is slow. Everything built up to the reunion and fight with Hinata and friends, and then they were thoroughly dominated. The geezer plot was built up for most of the season, only to be dealt with in seconds. It's nice to have more friends, but this show does seem to be getting repetitive. Face the bad guys, beat them easily, befriend them, repeat. I think they can do more with this. Now, overall, Slime is a boy for sure, but I have to judge this season on its own merit, and in that case, it's simply an acquaintance. This anime has a bunch of gods and relies on strategy, which are two of my favorite things in anime. The only problem is, it's not good. The visuals being so generic probably play a part in lowering my enjoyment more than it should. The characters are decent enough, it has some solid episodes, but overall, it's a premise that doesn't live up to its potential. And it also ends abruptly, but not in an epic cliffhanger way, but a lame one, which to me means they're just begging for a season 2 I doubt we will ever get. I don't actively dislike this show, so it can't be a not boy, but it's clearly a stranger. Windbreaker is the anime that proves that plot really doesn't matter if you stick to what you're good at. It has great action, and it has a lot of personality. You can probably describe the whole show in one sentence, but it works. The characters are entertaining, the arcs are compelling, especially Choji and Togame, and the action is phenomenal. The fighting choreography is so smooth, but everyone also has their own style and flair, which makes them all feel unique. Sometimes, that's all you need. Maybe the biggest surprise of the season, clearly a boy, and yeah, I'll go as far as to say it, this is going in Inner Circle. A silly titled isekai with an OP lead and women fawning over him. We've all seen that before, so what's the catch? Well, this time the lead is psychotic. I don't know if that's intentional or not, but it does enhance the show at times, where other times Lloyd is simply boring. The show has a crazy amount of fan service and stunningly good visuals. I was iffy on it until the Assassin Guild arc, which really adds a ton of depth, heart, and ramps up the stakes of the show. I'll give it credit, it's not what I expected. I think of every anime I watched, this was the toughest one. I wasn't sure between acquaintance and boy, but final decision, we're gonna go boy. I think it's earned it. A silly titled isekai with an OP lead and women fawning over him. Wait, didn't I just do this? No, this does have a different title. Huh. This one is more laid back, but somehow goes all over the place with demon lords, djinns, and corrupt heroes. It can be entertaining. The bit with the Dark One and Balirosa does get me every time. It has a fun ending theme, but unfortunately, the only time this show teased some real stakes, it immediately backtracked on them, which is one of my biggest pet peeves in anime. I mean, based on the definitions I give for these classifications, this is the perfect example of an acquaintance. I'm only a few episodes into this, but I don't care. My Hero Academia is my favorite ongoing anime for a reason. It only took 2 episodes to craft an entire legacy for Star and Stripe. We were given a 7-season payoff of a betrayal with an emotional payoff, which was something that had been looming in the background for ages, and then we jumped right into an all-out war with tons of compelling plot lines playing roles in each battle. What more could you want? I haven't seen enough to say this is going to be top boy status, but it's clearly Inner Circle. Absolutely no doubt. Yeah, probably not a real Spring 24 anime, but that's when I watched the majority of it, so I'm counting it. Typically, I hate when shows combine fantasy and mech elements, and I don't love it here, but it is one of the best I've seen at handling it and having it make sense. The dragons are handled properly, the Silverware Princess is great, and Ultimatia is fascinating as a villain that you love to hate. This was a surprisingly good watch, and I have no idea where things are going, which is usually a good sign. This was another really tough one between Acquaintance and Boy, but when it comes down to it, I know for a fact I will watch the next season, so Ragna Crimson, you're one of the boys. They should retitle this Douche Tubers or something. If the point was to show how maddening it can be watching people go to great lengths to get views, then it succeeds. As a show, it does not. Wait, is that some kind of cell phone? It might be. Whatever. But yeah, I dropped this because every character is super unlikable, and I don't want any of them to succeed. Hopefully that's not the case with how you all view me, and if it is, don't worry, you're probably right. The first and only not boy on this list. Just a bad, unlikable show. I've talked about this show a lot, so watch those videos for more in-depth stuff. Basically, this has recreated Attack on Titan in a modern setting, but lives actually matter here. It does a great job turning your typical shonen lead trope on its head. The supporting cast is fantastic, the setup is excellent, and each week you keep asking for more. This has exceeded any expectations I could have had for this show, and I highly recommend it to anyone who hasn't been watching. As I said, exceeded all expectations I could have had. This is going in Inner Circle. It's absolutely awesome, and it's probably high Inner Circle as well. Power Rangers, The Boys Edition. Power Rangers are the bad guys, and the Putty Men are the good guys. My biggest question is how people haven't realized this is a production when it's done in a stadium every Sunday, and it almost always follows the exact same script for 13 years. Is this how people view us pro wrestling fans? Overall, it's been solid, and D having to navigate a world he's not familiar with is intriguing, but I haven't been wowed by anything to this point. Why are all the tough ones between Acquaintance and Boy? I don't know. Unlike the others, I don't know if I'm going to watch another season of this. I'm just not that compelled by it. We're gonna go Acquaintance. Honestly, I forgot how entertaining this show can be. The arc with the princess and her bit about calling Kazuma Big Brother with a jealous Megumin on the side was hilarious. But there were so many other good bits and moments that just had me cracking up all season long. The darkness body swapping and voice mimicking, the noble thief bit, they just kept coming and I just kept laughing. Episode 9 was the funniest episode I watched of any anime this spring, and maybe this year. And as always, Megumin is a goddamn treasure. Already on the boys list, cemented its status there. Real close to Inner Circle, but not quite. We're gonna stick with Boy here, but it was close. According to the rumors, the final arc of the Demon Slayer anime, and it was a training arc. Bold strategy, Cotton. We'll see how it pays off. It was cool seeing Rengoku's continued impact on Tanjiro, and Tanjiro extending that impact onto others within the core. Gyu's arc tying back to Sabito was a nice touch as well, and it was funny to see how all the Hashira either loved or hated Tanjiro, and basically ignored and didn't care about anyone else. This is clearly a setup season, so the stakes aren't high yet, but Muzan is coming. Everything I recorded for this was before the last episode, and I was thinking, boy, this is Inner Circle. Absolutely. The last episode completely elevated everything that comes before it. Well, what did you think of this video? What'd I get right? What'd I get wrong? Let me know below.